Roll call, please.
Mr. Borchers, Mr. Curley, Mr. Dishman, Mr. Henry.
Here.
Ms. Hensley,
Here.
Mr. Landis,
Here.
Mr. Leach, Mr. Motzenbacher,
Here.
Ms. Owen.
Here.
Ms. Powell.
Here.
Ms. Sipe,
Here.
Mr. Wisely.
Here.
That is 9 members present.
Okay, moving on. So, other business.
MPC 07-23A, Jurisdiction County Commissioners, being a consideration of a resolution of approval to amend the text of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance regarding large solar installations, specifically Section 8, Paragraph B, as amended by the County Commissioners.
Thank you. And Mr. Murphy, can you just give us a little bit of guidance on what exactly our role is here tonight?
Yes, so we are essentially acting under Indiana Code 36744607. The county commissioners have adopted the amendments with one exception. And the amendment provision says that if the legislative body, which is the county commissioners in this instance, amends the proposal, it shall be returned to the Plan Commission for its consideration. The commission has 45 days in which to consider the rejection or amendment and report to the legislative body as follows. And there are 2 options. Number 1, if the commission approves the amendment, the ordinance stands as passed by the legislative body. Again, that's the county commissioners. And option 2 is if the commission disapproves the amendment, the action of the legislative body stands only if confirmed by another vote of the legislative body within 45 days. So the options on this provision are to approve or disapprove, and so that will be what I would suggest the commission vote on today.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure everyone is very clear on that. The only issue we are considering tonight is the acreage limit and whether or not we approve the 5,000 acre limit. So I have the sign-up sheets for those who wish to speak both for and against the 5,000 acre limit. So the standard is 20 minutes to a side in our debate, so there's 10 people on one side and 9 on the other. So we're just going to limit it to 2 minutes. I'm just going to go in order. Everyone who's in favor of the 5,000 will go first. Everyone who is against the 5,000 will then go. So you'll just speak up to the podium on this side when your name is called, and then you'll just give us your name and your address. So starting with those who are in favor of the 5,000 acre limit, first is Wayne Meyer.
Hello, my name is Wayne Meyer. I live at 4808 North LaFern Way, Muncie, Indiana. I am strongly in favor of utility-scale solar in Delaware County, and thus, I'm in favor of a reduction in the setback requirement from 500 to 250 feet, measured from the outer edge of a facility's panels to the outer.
Okay, sir, we are not discussing the
residence.
setback tonight. The
Pardon me?
setback is not an issue being discussed tonight. This is only about the acreage limit.
Well, allow me, if you have a moment, to start out by saying, and I'm sincere about this, I feel sorry for those who will feel deeply disappointed if their case ultimately fails. And I definitely want to express my sympathy for the members of the Plan Commission There is no way, of course, that you'll be able to make everyone happy. I suspect that you did not anticipate such a drawn-out, complicated, contentious, and emotionally charged situation that you're now faced with. I'm sorry. Let me take a moment to express where I'm coming from. Unless you live under a rock, I'm certain that everyone here is aware of what I call the climate crisis and global warming, or I now call it global broiling, which is getting worse and worse. That's a scientific fact. It's rightly called humankind's existential crisis and the moral imperative of our time. And what role, admittedly a very small one, can we in Delaware County, Indiana, play to meet this crisis and turn it around in time? For me, it begins with family, not really with me, a debilitating 81-year-old man, but I'm deeply worried about my 2 grown sons and definitely my 6-year-old granddaughter, Lucy. But in an instant, I see her family interlinked to that of all other children on earth.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So, I am not allowed 3 minutes as I was initially told.
2 minutes.
I hope the commission will keep cool and muster the courage and not be intimidated by any outbreak that might occur. I'm not exaggerating. I think it will take courage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next is Cheryl Swingley.
Hi, Cheryl Swingley, 3908 North Vienna Woods Drive. I am for the reduction of acreage down to 5,000 acres. I do want to emphasize the importance of solar facilities within Delaware County, and I want to call to your attention a great case study that we have right next door to us, and that's Randolph County. I want to share with you some of the things that they've been able to do because of their solar facilities. Randolph County has been in the renewable energy business for 10 years, which gives us great information to work from. Because of the renewable energy projects that they have, more than $1 million in repairs have been done to their courthouse. Many of their roads have been greatly improved because any road used by the solar company is repaired to what it was when they found it, usually better. MoDOC and Lisantville have had $1.5 million spent in their communities to fix their sewers. A new ambulance was recently purchased for the county. Bridge repairs have been made. And by 2027, when projects are done, it's estimated that 24% of all of the tax base will be supported by renewable energy. That takes the place of so many of the factories that we've lost. And I had a chance to look at who provides tax base in this county a few years ago through a special project I was doing with my students at Ball State. It is disgusting. Who provides the tax base for this county? We don't have a tax base. And through solar, we can regain some of that that's been lost. When projects are done, it's estimated that landowners involved in the renewable energy projects can expect approximately $480,000 of revenue in their pockets. So that kind of revenue translates into more revenue for your county, more dollars spent locally means a better economic outcome for our community.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Next is Sarah Williams.
Good evening, Sarah Williams, 504 North Mackenzie Street, Muncie, Indiana. I am in favor of the 5,000 acre land use limitation. I am also in favor of a solar ordinance that respects a participating farmer and makes efficient use of his property and therefore doesn't include an unreasonable setback for a non-participating party. The setback must be changed for Delaware County to fully benefit from solar's
As a reminder, we
community
do not have the
investment
ability
dollars.
to change the setback tonight. That is not an issue that is before us. Next is Tim Nickam.
Good evening, everyone. I know that, you know that the study commission,
Can you give us your name and address, sir?
yeah, Tim Nickam. I live in rural Delaware County, Harrison Township. I know that you know that the study committee consisted of 3 members, 4, 3 neutral, and 3 against industrial solar. Everything we discussed was done with a lot of thoughtful deliberation. And we came up with a 3,400 acre limit. 5,000 acres is closer to 35,000 acres, so I would support the 5,000 acre limit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nickam. Next is Britney Mock.
Britney Mock, Gaston, Indiana. Just to kind of piggyback off of Tim, obviously everyone knows that I'm against this whole situation to begin with, but I would like to see the 5,000 at least. That way, you know, try to meet both sides of the aspect of things. So we can have solar, but we can do it in a smaller scale until we kind of figure out what is going to happen with it all, and then reevaluate that on down the road if that is the case, that it is great for our community. So I support the 5,000, and I hope that you guys can stick with that. Thank you.
Next is Catherine Kirtley. Okay. Next is Cody Light.
I'm Cody Light from Gaston, Indiana. I guess I support the 5,000 acre versus the 35,000, but we need to look at these projects, not just what's going to be in Delaware County, but the issues that they create with the drainage problems, the subsoil drainage problems. And have any of you on this commission talked to our drainage, our surveyor, county surveyor, or drainage board, to see what kind of effects it's going to have on our county's drainage and drainage system? Because we do a shitty job of maintaining our county tiles, our county drains, and how is this going to affect somebody down the road or down the drain, down the creek from this? Is it going to flood their properties? I think that you guys need to approach this slowly with small acreage, as Mrs. Riggins suggested, and obviously our 2 other commissioners did not, because clearly she's got an agricultural background and can see the issues that this is going to create, that some of our other commissioners just feel we need to ramrod and just jump into it with both feet instead of seeing what the issues are going to be with drainage and neighboring properties.
And I will just say for the record that Mr. Borchers, the surveyor, was involved in drafting the drainage sections of this ordinance, and he also has to give approval to any site plans. Next is Jerry Kirtley. You're passing? Okay. Next is Robert Kester.
Thank you for your time tonight. I try to frame my thinking about all of the
Can
complexities.
you give us your name and address?
Yeah, sorry. Robert Kester, I live at 2709 West Burnell Drive in Muncie, Indiana. I've been
Sure.
there for 40 years. I've been in Muncie longer. I've tried to find a way to get my head around the complexity of issues, and I find this to be a helpful way to think about it. Farmers harvest the sun. They grow corn, they grow soybeans, they grow other specialty crops, and they raise livestock who feed off some of the growth on the farm. A PV electrical array also is a harvest of the sun. And they can coexist with the production of food and the raising of livestock. The PV electrical production harvest can be significant, and it can actually increase the amount of production and income for the farmer. And although 5,000 acres is a compromise from earlier conversations, I think it's a positive step. It will make Delaware County eligible for the state level commercial solar energy ready community designation. And I think farmers should continue to be able to have the freedom to use their land the way they choose. It is their property. They have access to the sun, and they should be able to grow crops, raise livestock, or harvest electricity. Farmers need the freedom to employ diversity in order to assure that they have financial stability. That also assures longer-term inheritance potential. If you can keep your farm alive, you can leave it to your kids. Land use ordinances must be made for the benefit of the full community and all of our citizens that live in Delaware County. The solar harvesting of electrical production meets that criterion, and it will provide an increase in property taxes for the entire community, an increase in sales taxes for the state, immediate employment for those that are involved in the construction of these farms when they go up, and longer-term employment for those who operate them. Thank you.
Okay, next is Linda Hansen.
Thank you. I'm Linda Hansen, 1400 West North Street, Muncie, Indiana. I'm speaking on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Muncie, Delaware County. The League supports utility-scale solar, as I think you've heard us say before. We want to thank the Plan Commission, the County Commissioners, and the County Council for all the work that it has taken thus far to get us to a reasonable solar ordinance. We do support the County Commissioner's amendment to reduce the acreage to 5,000 acres. We would like to urge each of the commissioners and the Plan Commission, the County Council, the County Commissioners to observe that, according to the state, the county or municipal commercial solar regulations must include standards that are not more restrictive, directly or indirectly, than the default standards outlined in Indiana Code 8-1-42. Observing the state standards in each of the aspects of the ordinance will make Delaware County eligible for state money from the Indiana Office of Energy Development. And the economic development that Cheryl Swingley talked about in Randolph County will be accessible to us. The income that we'll provide to Delaware County would be accessible to us. If we can just get this ordinance settled and passed so that we will be eligible when the monies become available from the state in 2024, that would be a boon to all of us. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. And that concludes the speakers in favor of the 5,000 acre limit. We will now move on to speakers in opposition to the 5,000 acre limit, starting with John Taylor.
John Taylor, 305 South Hutchinson Avenue, Muncie, Indiana. I'm not totally against the 5,000. I think that it might be an unnecessary cap. Understanding what I've been learning about the requirements of the state to have solar-ready communities, and also understanding what we learned, and Tim Nickam talked about this, the grid can only tolerate so much electricity from Delaware County. It's not an arbitrary number. It's close to 5, I'm not sure what it is, but there's only so many projects that can be built in Delaware County, regardless of what the acreage is. So I'm just not positive that a cap is necessary. I also wanted to just say that I was very proud to serve on that study committee. I got to talk to people and learn from them about, I think that we just need to do a better job talking to each other and not getting into our own isolated little bubbles, because we all have our own opinions, but at least I got to experience a point of view from outside of what I was normally used to. So, good. Thank you.
Next is Harold King. Okay. Okay, then next is Christina Wheeler.
Thank
Thank you. My name is Christina Wheeler. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Bose, McKinney and Evans in Indianapolis. I represent Invenergy. I've been practicing energy and local government law almost exclusively for 25 years. I'm the former general counsel of the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission for 7 years and the vice president of legal for Indiana Municipal Power Agency, which counts many nearby communities as part of its membership. I want to thank you for being a part of this difficult process. I know that regardless of what your thoughts are, that you all have spent a great deal of your own personal time and effort on this. As it relates to the acreage cap issue, I will share with you the same thing that I've shared with our county commissioners, which is I'm not entirely sure it's legal, respectfully. The reason I think that it is not is because Indiana Code 36-7-2-8 says that local governments may not regulate solar energy systems except for the protection of public health and safety. Some of the things that are in the ordinance very clearly relate to public health and safety. I'm having a real hard time figuring out how an acreage cap addresses public health and safety. I don't think it does. And so respectfully, I just question it. But more importantly, what I hope that you will understand and why I hope that the commissioners will ask the Plan Commission to return to the setback issue is acreage caps and setbacks. I want to make sure everybody is
The setback has already been adopted by the county.
I understand, sir, but I want you to understand that acreage caps and setbacks are interrelated. And the reason that they're interrelated is that the larger setback you have, the less land is available under the acreage cap for farming. They are related. Thank you very much.
Next is Joe Russell.
And I don't interrupt anybody else.
Okay, that's enough of that.
I'm Joe Russell. I live at 3501 East, 700 North, Eaton. I'm a farmer in the northern part of the county. I served on the committee, and we had not a long discussion, but we discussed property, the amount of acreage limits that could be done. It was decided that at that time it was 2%, which is roughly 3,500 acres. It was more emotional than it was analytical in coming up with that number. And when Marta passed away, came to an end, went to the Plan Commission where it went to 20%, 34,000 acres, then back to 5. So it's jumped all over. I would say it's a moot point, whatever that number is. The number of solar farms will be determined by the number of power lines and substations. And that is regulated by PJM to make sure there aren't too many solar farms competing for the same substation or power line. So my suggestion is to just eliminate any reference at all to acreage limits and let PJM do their job. Another reason to do that, if we say 5,000 acres and 10 years down the road, there's another ideal place in Delaware County and conditions are good, we're going to eliminate the opportunity for other farmers to use their land for, if they deem solar is important, then that's fine. So I would suggest we eliminate that, let PJM do their job, and keep it simple. And the closer we can make our whole ordinance to state standards, it's the better for Delaware County, so we can compete in and maybe some revenue sharing like we do for roads and bridges. Thank you.
Next is Cheryl Dawson.
Yes, my name is Cheryl Dawson. I'm a small farm owner on State Road 28 north of Muncie. I would vote for less acres than 5,000, simply because I came to this all late when I attended the meeting at the Justice Center in November. And I'm really unsettled by how all of this has come about. I feel like there are people who are going to be greatly embellished by the way this is being handled, while other people are going to be hurt. And I feel like our county's job is to protect all citizens in Delaware County. With that said, my attorney submitted yesterday evening a document to the Planning Commission on drainage. And I personally am concerned about drainage in relation to a farmer who wants to put panels next to me. And I hope that you all will consider that, please. Thank you.
Next is Sue Arrington.
I'm Sue Arrington, 3200 Westbrook Drive. I don't have strong feelings about the number of acres that would be dedicated to in this ordinance, but I do agree with Joe Russell that it's not we or you who will decide, it's what the grid can handle. The other thing I'm concerned about is that the statute that established our standards for Indiana, which they're voluntary, but they don't mention a cap. That was a law that was passed in 2022. This year, this spring, in 2023, we added on to that. We established the Solar Energy Ready Communities program. It began in July. It's housed in the Office of Energy Development. So it's new. This program is really less than 6 months old. So I asked their executive director, Ryan Hadley, I've been in email communication with him the last couple of weeks. I asked him, are any of the counties in Indiana certified yet? And he said, not yet, but some have expressed interest. So I asked, is there funding of any kind now available to local communities? And again, it's a new program, there isn't at this point, but I really believe that there will be in the future, and probably not that distant future. So I think it would be to our advantage to come as close to those default standards that are set in the law as we can be. It has no cap. So is that cap going to disqualify us? Because I think you need to think about that and the other things that I think we are not in compliance with for certification. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arrington. David Mock.
I'll go with that.
Okay. Okay, that concludes all of our speakers that are signed up to speak. So now we will move into discussion from the commission. So does anyone from the commission have any comments regarding the 5,000 acres? If not, Ms. Powell, did you have something?
I just would like to, I think that we should take things as well.
Okay. And also, again, just want to make it clear that all we are able to do tonight is make a motion one way or the other on whether or not we agree with the 5,000 acres. So I would entertain a motion to, what's the exact wording, Mr. Murphy?
That would be either to approve or to disapprove.
Okay, so either to approve or disapprove the 5,000 acre cap. I have a motion one way or the other from the members of the Planning Commission. I'll make the motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the 5,000.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Henry. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Ms. Sipe. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Dishman. Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Landis.
Yes.
Mr. Motzenbacher.
Yes.
Ms. Owen.
Yes.
Ms. Powell.
Yes.
Ms. Sipe. Mr. Wisely.
Yes.
It is 9 yes. That is official action and approval of the motion to approve the 5,000 acre limit.
Okay, and my understanding then, Mr. Murphy, is so then the 5,000 acres becomes law once we have certified this to the county commissioners, is that correct?
Yes, the ordinance stands as passed by the county commissioners.
Okay, thank you. There being no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.